Okay, hello everybody, it's Runescapefar. How you guys doing today? So, today we are going to make a trivia game with Visual Basics, or actually in this case it's Visual Studio 2019. So first off, let's begin. So we're going to rename our form here. We're going to rename it, actually we're going to rename this one Main Menu. So that way on the form it won't say Form 1 anymore, it'll say Main Menu. And then we're going to say... Okay, there we go. So now we got our main menu, which won't really have much, because this is just going to be a very simple trivia game. I'll go into a more advanced one if you guys want me to. So what we're going to need to do is create our button 1 here, and then we are going to text box here, simple text box, make it kind of long here, and then our label, which we'll try to keep everything a little symmetrical here. And this will basically say there we go. No, we can actually make this even smaller. Try to get rid of some all that dead space there. Perfect. So we're gonna name this here TB name. So it's important that we put TB in front of there because that says that it is a text box and not a button or a radio button or a link or a label. Okay, so that's important to do that. And then we're going to have our button here. This will be BT start. And then okay, so now we're actually going to make this to where you have to actually type in something to start the game. So if tb name.text equals then okay, message box dot show, okay, then we do message box buttons dot okay dot message box icon dot information. So basically, so if we click start now, since we had this up and running, let's make sure it works. So if we type in start, it'll say please enter your name. So it won't do anything until we now enter a name. And this is really annoying with the VAST, but I'm not going to disable my security system just for a video. So let it run its cycle. So if we type in, then we will not get the error, so that's a good sign that that works. If we typed in the name and then still got an error, then there's something wrong with your coding. But this is basically the simple way to do it. Okay, so we're pretty much done with the main form here. So we go to Project, Add Windows Form, and we're going to make the second part. So let's see, Windows Form here. And then what we also need to do is, before I forget this, we need to add a model. And this is actually very important. So for the model, we need to do public, and then we need to do name string, and then public correct wrong There we go. So basically what this does is we can now store data here in this module. It will collect all the data, and then when we need to use it, it can recall all that. So we got the name as a string, and then we got public, correct, wrong, and page. Page will play an important part here, because unless you want to count up every single individual level you create, or yeah, I guess level would be the correct term, then just do this and it makes it so much easier. So we need to also come back here to our main menu, Visual Basic here, click on the, yeah, actually I guess we can do it here too, and we're going to type in name plus equals 1. There we go. So that now adds the name to the database there that we created here with the module. Let's go ahead and save all that. Okay, so now we got our form 1. Now notice how this changed to form 1 because this is no longer form 1. So we're going to rename this to level 1. There we go. So now this form is level 1. So when you go to call on this in the previous one, you just type in level 1 and then this will pop up. Or not, since this is a trivia game, we're going to do 1. There we go, question 1. Simple as that. And then just so you don't forget, make sure you also come back here and do, so we're going to do level 1 dot show. There you go. So now when we click on it, level 1 will show up. So let's see. This is just going to be some pretty simple stuff here. Now since we're dealing with labels here, we don't really need to change the ID here. So we're going to say, what's a good trivia question here? Okay. Okay, there we go. And then, so for this, we can either use radio buttons or just buttons in general. So for this one, what we're going to do is, because we're going to do both here, I think for this one we'll just stick with the button for the first one. So with this, you can actually do it a little bit easier, and I actually like kind of doing it like this. So with this one, we can instantly move to the next one, and there's less coding. So this one, we're going to say, George Washington, expand our button there, and then we'll just throw in, let's see. There we go. Why the hell not? Usually in most trivia games, they have one answer that's obviously not the correct answer. So we'll just throw that in there. So we're going to, to save time here, we're going to do BT for button, George Washington. For here, we're going to do BT, George Bush. And then we're going to do BT, MM for Mickey Mouse. So for this one, we're going to make a message box. So message box dot show, and then we're just going to say and then message box buttons dot okay. message box icon dot information. So then we do correct +1, plus equals 1. That's very important that we do it like that. So there we go. So we know that one is correct. And then we'll have to come back here once we create the next question and put this one in here. And also something else we need to do here is do page. Oops. No, we want equal 1. So what this will do now is it will add that page, and that will play a very important part here at the end. So I'm thinking we'll do 3 of these. And I don't know if I will or not, but depending on how much time we actually spend here, I may actually do like a special level or something, which will be pretty interesting. So we got that one done. So now we'll click on this one. So if you click on this, you will get a message box. We're just going to basically copy and paste this. We're going to add that here, and we're going to change correct to wrong. And there we go. And then just copy that. Okay, there we go. So that means this will get a wrong answer, and it will store that one, whichever one we click on. And then it will be important, like I said, when we come back here, we'll focus on those settings. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next form. Okay, so this one's going to be, change it right here. It's important to make sure when you're doing something like this that these are all spelled correctly and you have the same formatting, so it just goes down easy. It's easier on the eyes. So we're going to do so for question 2, let's see, I think we will do the radio buttons for this one, because I do want to kind of show you how you guys can do it with radio buttons. So let's go ahead and place in our question, which will be, okay, there we go. So which of the following game consoles came first? I know I probably misspelled consoles. Again, this is coding, so I'm not really too focused. Now, if I was doing this professionally, then I would focus all on the spelling, but I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible so I can try to get some videos uploaded today, so I'm not too focused on the spelling right now. So for this one, we need to go down to our group box. I always like to use group box for these when just using radials or checkboxes, because it just keeps it nice and formed. So then we'll do okay, so now for this one, we're actually going to have a submit button. So we'll place that right here, close that gap up a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So BT submit, and then we're going to name it submit. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, for this method with the radio buttons, whereas this one, we did not need to use an actual submit button. With radio buttons or checkboxes or anything else, you will need to do have a submit button or something equivalent to that. Let's see. So now we need our radio buttons. This time we're going to have 3 of them. And this is all going to be controlled by the submit button using if cases. So we're going to do RB, NES, name it. Oops. 2600. Get that lined up there. Try to keep them all nice and lined. It's like I said, it's just easier on the eyes. So then for this one, we'll do Nintendo 64. So now, obviously, history lesson here. The Atari 2600 came out first of these three, but historically speaking, the first game was the brown box. That was the first console-based game. And then after that came the Odyssey, which nobody remembers that game console, so people tend to think Atari 2600 was the first game console, but it was actually the brown box followed by the Odyssey. I think I said that right. Okay, we did not name this one. Like I said, I just used like RB for radio button because it just makes it so much easier in identifying which one's which when you have very similar titles and names. It just really helps out. Okay, so now we've got that selected, so we're going to click on submit. So if RB, we'll go in order here. So first one's NES, so if RB NES dot checked equals true, then, so basically that's saying if that is checked, then we'll just do this. That actually pretty much works out pretty good. Then else, if RB, I believe the next one is Atari 2600 dot checked equals true, then we'll do this and then just change it again to copy and paste. It will be your best tool in coding, especially if you have multiple projects that uses a code that is very similar to one you've already created. You can just copy and paste that and then remodify it. This is why I love coding so much. And then if RB Nintendo 64 dot checked equals true, then we will do that again. Then make sure, of course, we have to go back here, click on the form, page plus equals 1. Again, that's very important that we do that, so that way everything adds up nice and evenly. So now let's go back here to level 1, and so we're going to do level 2.show me.close. So now what will this do is, as soon as you clicked on this, it will bring up this message box. Then once you click out of that, it will immediately bring up the level 2, and then close out of this one. And then we're just going to copy that there. So we got 3 options here. 1, 2, okay. We actually don't want to do that there, because that's the Form 1 load screen, so we definitely don't want to do that there. Save that. Save that. Okie dokie, so now that we got all that taken care of, so again, once we bring up level 2, it will determine which one you clicked on, is if it's correct or not. If it's correct, you get a point. If it's not, you get a negative point. So let's see, we need to do level 3, Windows form, change, oops, right there it is. Yep, there we go. There we go, so question 3. Let's try to think of a good question here. Because we're going to do, I guess, 4 will be even maybe. This one's going to be a written one, because you can also do written answers. So let's see. What would be a good trivia question we could write in? Okay, here we go. Or no, hold on. Let's see, trying to think of a good one here. Okay. There we go. I'm a Halo fan. So for this one, we're still going to need a submit button, and we're going to need a text button. So we want to make sure is that this is set to multiple lines. If you're going to have a very long, lengthy answer or response, then you want to set it to multiple lines. And then make it bigger. So I think this is good for that. And then we're going to have our submit button. So this will be TB. There we go. And then we got BT1, which will be BT submit. And since this is on a separate form, the submit buttons won't get all mixed up in anything, which is what I really like about this. This is much better and easier to learn, user-friendly than Java is. We're going to go into our form here, and of course do page plus equals 1. There we go. And then we need to go to the submit button. So if TB name or TB answer dot text equals Halo, then so if the Halo, we will get a message box, which we're just going to go back here to level 2 here and just kind of copy that, because I mean it's the same thing. Unless you want to customize each individual one, then yeah, you don't have to. Then we're just going to do a else statement. So else, if it's not that answer, then simply this. So if you type in the correct answer, you'll get this one. If not, you'll do this. So this one just uses an else, not an else if. Radial buttons will use else if. Text answers just use else. So let's see. We need to go to level 2. And again, kind of do the same thing as we did before. So this will be level 3 dot show, and then me dot close. There we go. So that's pretty much all we need right here. Alright, yeah. So for this one, it's going to be each individual case here. Okay, some reason. Okay, what happened here? Really not liking this keyboard. And then there we go. So that will handle that there. Make sure we of course save. And then level 3. So now we got all that done, situated. And then we do level 4, which will be the final level. So let's see. What would be another good option to do here? I think we've pretty much gone over the 3 I prefer and usually do, but there are some other ones. If you want to see me make a more complex video where I do more options than just the buttons and the text or the radio buttons, let me know in the comments below, because I can definitely do that. But for this one, I think we're just going to do a button. Since the buttons are the simplest one, we're going to have a label here. So we're going to do is let's see what's a good one. This one's going to be like a true or false one. You can do this also with radio buttons, but again, we're just going to use buttons. It's so much simpler. And so this one will be there we go. Simple as simple can be. Let's go back here to level 3 now. First, we get to change this. So this will be level 4. Okay, so let's go back here to level 3, and we need to do level 4.show me.close level 4.show me.close. Perfect. Everything's looking pretty good now. So let's see, we got true or false. So again, for this one, just we gotta do the coding in the buttons. That's why it's so much simpler and easier to do. So then we'll do, let's see. Okay, that one's done. False. We will do there we go. We just saved so much time. I have to retype everything. That's why I love coding again. It's so awesome. And then, of course, we got to do the page. There we go. Change that to... Now that we got that done, we're going to go and create the score page. And of course, that should be self-explanatory. So rename. And then you will be... So what we'll do is we're going to have text boxes here. Try to keep them close as possible to save space. There we go. And then labels. Okay, now there used to be a cool feature I used to do here with the Visual Basic 2010 version, but it no longer works in 2010 or 2019 Visual Studios. But I was able to have this saved to a Excel sheet and save all the scores of everybody who's done it, and then have like a leaderboard thing set up. But sadly, I'm still figuring out how to try to do that with the Visual Studios 2019. Because of course they can't make things simple anymore. So first of all, we're going to do TB name. Name TB. There we go. So let's first try. There we go. So what we need to also do is come down here and find the read only and make it true, so that way nobody can go in and edit their scores. Because you know there's going to be people that would do that. So instantly it makes the box gray. And for this one, the code is actually going to be very simple and very easy to do. So what we do here is we're going to do tbname.text equals name. I believe that should work. Hold on. Actually, I did have to rename this, I think, looking back, because of all of this new stuff they've added. So we're going to change this to username. There we go. So now we need to go back to level 1. Or not level 1, where is it? Where is our main menu? There we go. So it won't be name anymore, it will be username. Nope. Don't know why that came up. There we go. So let's go back to the score here. So this will equal username. And then tbcorrect.text equals be wrong. Text equals wrong. Now we're going to do a little bit of math. So we're going to take the correct, divide it by the page, and times it by 100. And there you go. Let's go back to level 4 here, and of course do the same thing before. So let's see what I named this, score. So score.show, and then me.close. Just copy and paste, people. Best feature ever. Okie dokie, so now we have all this saved up here. And everything should work. So let's go ahead and test out our game. We're going to let the Avast thing goes through. So if you want to see me create more cool things, like, yes, this is a trivia game, but I can also show you guys how to create actual business forms for calculations, an actual something a store would use. So let's start here. So okay, so George Washington, correct. So which of the following consoles? We know that's the Atari. And right off the back, something is wrong here. So that was level 3, I think. Or was, no, that was level 2. So I think, where is the level 2 stuff at? Okay, level 3.show. Okay, that's interesting. That's not doing this. I think I actually have to just put it in wrong. Not in the if statement, but down here. So level 3.show. There we go. Okay, so let's save it and let's try that again. Okay, we got a build error somewhere here. Oh, right there. See, that's what I love about Visual Basic versus Java. It will actually stop me before I do something like that. The Java programs or software I use, it does not do that. That's why I always love Visual Basic more than any other coding language. I was highly appraised by my Visual Basic teacher. He actually recommended me for the advanced class because I was so good at this and showed skills beyond what the other students had. Okay, so let's try this again. No, that's George Washington. Atari 2600. Okay, we're still not getting the level 3 to run. That is something I've never actually had happen before. And this is under the Smith. So why... Oh, hold on, I think I know what might have happened. Let me see. Okay, so we got level 3. So that is correct. So there might be something here that might actually be why. So that might have fixed the problem. I think because I had it select to minimize, so that means when it opens minimized. Yep, there we go. That fixed the problem. So it had it set to open to minimize only. So make sure you note that. Okay, George Washington, correct. Atari 2600, correct. Correct. And then true. So we got 100 on here. So I'll have to change that here, which I figured that might happen. So because I'll admit it's been a while since I've done something like this. So you know, I'm bound to do that. So what we want to do is plus equal tb dot name. There we go. So now let's just double check this one more time so I can make sure I'm giving you guys the correct layout on how to solve problems like this. Because I don't want to end the video with that might fix it and that it doesn't fix it. So let's just make sure that actually fixes everything. So at least we know the math's done correctly, everything else is done correctly, so... There we go. So that fixed our problem there. So now we'll show the name, the correct, the wrong, and the final score. So there we go, and that there. So to fix that problem, you do the username, which again we set in our model class here as a string. So it is username equals tbname.text, and our tb is of course the text box we chose right here. That's what we chose to name the ID here. The ID is what they call so the actual text itself. So when you come down to here, this, if you type in main menu here and it's still form 1, and you go to the next one, type in main menu, it's not going to show up because it's going to look for the ID form 1. So that's why you want to make sure you name the ID something that you can remember and know exactly what it is, and also rename it up here first, so that way you don't have to worry about actually going in and individually changing it. Also make sure you change it up here because form 1, form 2, form 3 can get very confusing very fast, very easy, especially if you changed everything else and it no longer says it's form 3. That can just be very confusing and annoying. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, leave comments, and as always, have a nice day. Live a loving game on. Peace.